Imagine years in a prison where you never know if you're being watched, yet you still behave. This affects you today. Hi, in the last video, we talked about how surveillance existed long before CCTV. People were watching over the cities, guarding borders, and looking out for dangers thousands of years before anyone invented the CCTV camera. That answered one question, but it left me with another one. If cameras didn't change surveillance, then what did? The answer took me somewhere completely different. It took me back more than 200 years to an old prison design. At first, I couldn't work out why people kept talking about it. Then I realized it wasn't really the prison they were interested in. It was what the prison revealed about people. Imagine you're driving on a highway, yeah? Then, up ahead, you remember or even notice there's a speed camera next ahead. So, what do? You see, for most people, it happens automatically. Your foot eases off the accelerator, you glance at the speedometer, and also you make sure you're within the speed limit. You drive past the camera. And before long, you're back to your normal speeds. I've always wondered why we do that, yeah? Because if you're honest, most of us don't know whether that camera is even recording. We don't know if it's switched on. We even don't know if anyone is looking at it. So why do we react? The obvious answer is, I don't want to get a speeding ticket. That's true, but I don't think that's the whole story. Now, something changes before you even think about that ticket. You change your behavior. Not because you know someone is watching, because someone might be. That one word, might, sent me looking for answers. Eventually, I came across an English philosopher named Jeremy Bentham. Bentham wasn't trying to invent cameras. Nah, they even didn't exist in the first place. He was trying to solve a practical problem. How do you supervise a large number of inmates without needing a large number of guards? That's a question about staffing, a question about management, a question about operations. His solutions was something called the Panopticon. Yeah. Picture a circular prison. Around the outside are individual cells, yeah? Right in the middle is a guard tower. The person in that tower can look into every cell around, but the prisoners can't see into the tower. So, every day they wake up with the same question. Is someone watching me right now? Maybe. Maybe not. Bentham believed that uncertainty will change how people behaved. If you never know when you're being watched, you start acting as if you're always being watched. True? You see, eventually, that behavior becomes a habit. His hope was that people will begin regulating themselves, not because someone kept telling them what to do, but because they assumed someone could be observing them at any moment. Imagine living every day without knowing whether someone is watching. After a while, you probably stop asking the question. You simply start behaving as though someone is always there. That's what Bentham was exploring. Not just how to design a prison, but how uncertainty changes human behavior. Years later, there was a French philosopher called Michel Foucault, who looked at Bentham's idea and saw something bigger. Foucault was interested in what the prison revealed about the society. His argument was pretty simple. People don't always need someone standing over them. Sometimes the possibility of being watched is enough for people to start regulating their own behavior. That's why you will often hear people say, surveillance changes behavior. They don't always mean because someone is watching. They mean because people believe someone could be watching. After that, I couldn't stop noticing the same pattern in places I was never connected before. Think about how often you'll see it in everyday life. You walk into a building and there's a sign on the door that says, just like the one behind me, this building or premises is under CCTV surveillance. Sometimes you haven't even seen a camera yet. You only see the sign, yeah? But for some people, that's already enough to make them think twice about what they are about to do. Or think about the message you hear when you call a company. They go something like, this call may be recorded for quality and training purposes, yeah? Before the conversation has even started, you know there is a chance someone else could listen to it later, yeah? Think about access control. Every time you tap your card to open that door, there's a record that you are there. Think about body-worn cameras, dash cam cameras, cockpit voice recorders on an aircraft, event recorders on trains, different technologies in different industries. But they are all built around a similar idea. The possibility of observation changes behavior. Now, that doesn't mean people suddenly become perfect. It doesn't mean cameras solve every problem. But awareness has a way of making people stop and think before they act. Sometimes that's enough to prevent a mistake. Sometimes it's even enough to discourage bad behavior. And even sometimes it's enough to encourage people to follow a procedure they might otherwise ignore. And one of the reasons I enjoy learning about control rooms, whether you are in an air traffic control tower, a railway operation center, or even a security operation center, the technology may be different, or even the software may be completely different. The people working there may have completely different responsibilities, but they are always trying to answer the same question: what's happening right now, and what should we do about it? One thing the Panopticon changed for me was how I think about surveillance. Yeah, I used to think it was mainly about watching people. Now, I think it's also about how people behave when they know they could be watched at any given moment. Yeah, that's a small shift in thinking, but I think it's a very important shift. So here's something I'd like you to try this week. The next time you slow down for speed camera, or you see a CCTV signage that says this premises is under CCTV operation, is under CCTV surveillance, or even tap your access card, or even hear that call when you make it, this call may be recorded. Don't focus on the technology. Just pay attention to yourself for a second. Did you change what you are doing? If you did, you felt the Panopticon effect. Hi, my name is Patrick, a control room security consultant and trainer. I will see you in the next video.